We probably should have titled tonight's event, "You've Got a Friend," with 45 years worth of examples of how deeply connected Richie is with our community and how deeply connected the community is to Richie. But it makes me so proud to be associated with an organization that is so impactful and so thoughtful. An organization with an amazing story with our founding mothers and one of the most kind and most compassionate and dedicated executive directors we could ever hope or imagine for in Peggy Small-Porter. So tonight we'll eat a little, we'll celebrate a little, we'll do a little business, we'll fundraise a little, and we'll spend some time recognizing all the little things that Richie does to remind you that 45 years later, you've still got a friend.
I'll tell you a little of the story. Ben, who actually is going to turn 28 in 2 days, we moved to New Hampshire, and he had just, he was born just several months before we did. He was born with hydrocephalus and resulted in cerebral palsy. And we were new parents. We had no clue what that meant. And Maggie were trying to at least intellectually come to some sense of what that might mean, and the doctor said, we're not sure. We're also emotionally trying to figure out what that meant, and that's tough. Very tough. And we got connected to Richie McFarland and immediately felt that there were people in our camp. People were going to hold our hand. People were going to really help us. Sue's up there with her 30 years. Sue Ford, thank you, thank you. Donna Bernard, who's not here. And those names come right back to the Hassan family very quickly, because they were our anchor in those first years. And Maggie, when she's talking about our life with Ben, talks about the time that the school bus at age 3, when Ben was 3, pulled up in front of our house. And she talks about that was possible because of the families before us. And it's because, I'm going to look at 3 of you in this room tonight, Maureen Barros, Jay McFarland, Sue Kaplan, who really blazed a trail for the Hassan family. And I can't thank you enough. I know we'll get a chance to recognize you, and I'll nod. So as we look at the first 50 years, the next 50 after that, Richie McFarland will still be that beacon for families like the Hassans. And I thank you all for your support of such a great organization and just spreading the word, because I think that people need to understand the acceptance, the wonderful thinking that goes on and the support and all of that, and that just makes a great difference in lives and in the Hassan's life. Thank you so much.
There have been so many exceptional individuals associated with this remarkable organization over the past 45 years. For me, it's a tremendous privilege and honor to stand before you, to have served as a board member for the last 6 years, to have an opportunity to speak about the organization for which I care so deeply and passionately about, particularly at the 45th anniversary celebration. In a nutshell, this organization provides federally mandated, state authorized, regionally administrated, locally delivered, essential services by dedicated, loyal, loving, highly specialized staff to the children of our community at a bargain rate that exceeds all expectations. In reflecting on the past few years, did you know that the statewide Family-Centered Early Supports and Services program served over 3,800 infants, toddlers, and their families with a total budget of just $11 million? Richie's Family-Centered Early Supports and Services program, if you go back about a year ago, served 318 of these children. Over 92% of them, which amounts to roughly 293, exceeded their expected growth in social relationships, early literacy skills, and their problem-solving abilities. At least 40% of them, so to put a number to that, roughly 127 children, they caught up with their peers and they graduated from Richie's program. As a result, they did not require special education services upon entering preschool and kindergarten in their communities. And if you've ever crafted a school budget and the special education component, you understand the windfall saved by communities by early supports and services. For almost half a century, the organization has supported children and their caregivers at a most vulnerable time in their lives. And we heard that from Tom Hassan, and we could hear that story throughout our community over the last 45 years. And they facilitate children's readiness to walk, talk, communicate, move about, interact socially, and enter school. My real point is that this wonderful organization thrives on the volunteerism from all walks of life, from individuals who've been unselfishly devoting their time and energy for years to enable Richie to fulfill its mission. That's where all of you, parents, employees, volunteers, sponsors, and philanthropists come in. And I'd really like to be able to name all of you by name, but you know who you are and you know what you do, and this organization knows how important you are to them. You make this organization the success that it is each and every day by placing the children and their families at the center of the universe. You deserve our applause. Thank you.
About this time last Saturday night, I was driving around the deserted streets of Exeter trying to determine if my night vision had been restored after cataract surgery. Hooray, it worked. And I remembered of how often we take this precious gift of independence for granted. In just 5 years, which is like next week for me, we will be celebrating our 50th, and between now and then, thousands, yes, thousands of families will be turning to us to gain their independence from challenges they are facing. My parting question to all of you is, will you come back in 5 years to join in celebrating their achievements and support our efforts in the intervening years? Hello? Thank you.
It goes by like that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're beautiful. Wow, thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure.